Hey guys, how are you doing? Today is August 12th, and we are going to. I'm not going to discuss in detail in my Hong Kong channels because we do not have this stock. But seems we have to report the news of Disney, right? She has a quite a good quarter performance, but to me, I'm not saying that Disney is not good company. Actually, I think Disney is excellent company, right? But if you but in investment is another. I will look at it at another point of view, right? So the performance of this quarter is quite good, but I think is most contribute to that is because she is going to put up the price, right? And why the number of subscribers also increased because others also put up the price. But a very main reason is that you cannot always put up the price, right? You can only put up the price as the other competitors, right? So that is Disney is a very excellent company, but I still do not recommend you to buy her stock at this moment. Right? I think it's still too early. Although if you bought it at the lowest point and then now it's congratulations to you, right? Some of you has a guts, right? And you bought it at $90, then it's congratulations to you, right? But for a long term, I recommend still wait for one more season first, then we'll see, right? Because the competition is very big, right? Even in Hong Kong, then we have a lot of choices, right? You can pick up Netflix, then you can pick up Disney, or even if you are in Australia or Europe, then you have a lot of other streamings for you to pick up, right? So, of course, then if you want to see the most updated one from Marvel Heroes, something like that, then you have no choice. Then you have to pick up Disney. I watched Disney Plus for 1 month, then I changed it to Netflix. Right? Then maybe I will change back to Disney. Right? Maybe I will look at them at the same time because it's not expensive. But now it's more expensive than half years before, right? So we will take some time to look at the performance, but not in very detail, right? Okay, then actually yesterday we bought in one more stock for our Falcon portfolio, right? Then I'll show you the reason in a moment, right? So our Falcon portfolio been increased for actually sorry that it should be 30 months, right? 30 months from 35,000 to 56,500. That means the increment for 30 months is 61%. So if for any stock then you want me to analyze, if I can, you can drop your message under the YouTube or you can directly email to me by Usstockmarketweekly at gmail.com. And this is our portfolio, and for our portfolio we added one more stock members yesterday night, and it's called AutoZone. We've been introduced and analyzed this stock for I think at least 1 year already for 3 or 4 times. And you can see at the right hand side then the PE ratio is only 19.71. Not very low, but you can say that it's high, right? It's lower than 20. And this is in the past records then for rejection, then she can really do something, right? So we acted on not a very cheap price, right? Actually, not a cheap price, but not an expensive price that I think, right? I hope it's not expensive, right? So you can see, actually, you can see that when the market is going up, not like before, we won't buy the stock when the market is going down sharply. That means we won't pick up, try to hold a knife when it's dropping, right? But when the seems there is like for the exit, then we have to do something. Otherwise, then you better buy the index, right? Like VOO, something like that. Then you no need to spend a lot of time on the portfolio because you are always bidded by the index, right? Like the Nasdaq or like the others, ETF, something like that, right? So actually we have to do something, but we are not stupid to do something when the knife is jumping, and then we have to do something now because seems the inflation has been eased, and seems the traffic jams in all of the countries are a little bit released, something like that, right? So you can see the Nasdaq already 65% already. Well then, I hope that AutoZone can make us get close to the Nasdaq increment, right? Okay, then this is our covering. Actually, Disney, this is the third quarter for this year, and it's from April, May to June, and then it ended the 3rd of July. And Disney now really has a very good quarter performance, right? From the bottom of my heart, that's good, right? But still not the right time to buy it, right? Not the time to buy it, right? It doesn't matter. So yesterday, this is the Dow Jones, right? Then it just increased at 27 points, right? And Nasdaq yesterday been dropped at 75 points, but it doesn't matter because it rised for, you can see that the 50-week low is 10,565. Now already increased it for 20% already, then it should take a break, right? And always then we kept at the US 10-year Treasury yield. You can see that in 1 week before, that 2.692 is the previous Friday, right? And then that one 2.868 is yesterday night. It increased a bit, right? It increased a bit because it's going to put up, I don't know, it's half quarter or 3/4 of the interest rate in September. I don't know, that maybe half points, right? Most probably is half points. So we are going to look at Disney. And then it's quite a little bit terrible for you to, if you are long term on Disney, right? Because after the 2020, it quickly rise up to very peak of nearly 190. But then it suddenly drops to very low to 90 US dollar. It's more than half. It's very rare for Disney. It's quite a stable stock, right? The point why it suddenly rise up so sharply, there's a story in behind. It's because that it's saying that it's going to Disney Plus. That's the main reason. Everyone goes streaming. So the share price suddenly, boom, boosts up. But after that, the number of subscribers, mainly the paid subscriber, is always beaten by Netflix. So it drops back, right? It drops back. So if you bought it at something like 180 something, then it's still a long way to go. Because it has a very good quarter result, but you can see that the bounce back is now nearly finished. And you can take a look on the PE ratio, now is 81. I'm still thinking that that is quite difficult for me to hit the buy button for the PE with 81. It's much easier for me to hit the buy button for the PE is 19, right? It's more easy for treating myself. And this is, I show you the 5 year. That is, the previous one is for a long time. And this one is for 5 years. So you can see very clearly, right? For the peak is very close to 2,200. And then the lowest is 90. It's terrible. It's terrible days for Disney because it's never been that bad before for the past 20 years already. And this is the top news yesterday. Then actually Disney is raising the prices, right? You can see that for 3 years before when she is going to launch for the Disney Plus, and then the same one as the Netflix that I bought, she's cheaper. no X, no advertisement, then it's $6.99 per month, right? It's a little bit close to 3 years before. And then now, for no X, for no advertisement, it's $10.99 per month. It's going to launch in this month. So the prices is rising 57%. And this service now has more than 152 million customers, right? So we will analyze why this happened, right? It seems it's okay for her because she's putting up the price and the number of paid subscribers is not decreasing. That's a good news for her. And then we will examine this in a moment. Then you can see that for without ad, for Disney is increased the $3 to $10.99 starting from is December. Hulu's with ad will increase by $1 to $7.99, and Hulu without ads will jump $2 for $14.99. Then everyone is putting up the price, right? Right. So actually, this is just to tell you that then Disney Plus added 15 million new subscribers in last quarter, despite that she is putting up the price. So we will see what happened now. This is the most updated result from Disney. So you can see the quarter ended July 2nd, right? Then it's for 1 month and then for 9 months compared with 1 year before. Then you can see the total revenue for just this quarter increased at 26% compared with the same period 1 year before. And then the 9 months increased at 28%, also nearly the same, right? And for the cost and expense, right, it also increased at 21.7% and 23%, but actually they are still lower than the increment for the revenue. So there should be net income increment. So you can see the net income increment is 33.7%, and then for 9 months it's 44.3%. The slowdown is because actually the pandemic is over. We can date back to 9 months before because that time the pandemic is just start to getting over, and then now it's already over. So the net income increment when compared to 1 year before, right, is not as sharp as before, but that doesn't matter. That is normal. Right, this is just to show you very important things for you to look at when you buying stocks in US. You always has to look at the total asset, because as a shareholder, this is what you need to know. The company total company assets or the total market value must increase because that's your money. But we can see that the total assets even not increased. Now is 204 billion US dollar, but 1 year before is 203. That means no very obvious increment for the total asset. Also for the cash is less than before, right? You can see that for the cash and cash equivalents is less than before, right? One year before 15.9 billion US dollar, but now is 12.9 billion US dollar, right? So it's not as good as before. And we look at the liability and equity. You can see that at the end of the page, also nearly the same as 1 year before. So actually there is no very remarkable improvements on the current assets and the liability, right? It's not very remarkable increment on that. So I'm not going to recommend you to buy Disney at this moment. And we look at more figures, right? Those are the numbers. So we look at the numbers from the right hand side and then gradually to the left hand side. And the units in numbers of million subscribers, right? So you can see that for Disney Plus is gradually increasing. Very good, right? For ESPN Plus subscribers is also increasing, but not as fast as before. And for Hulu subscribers is nearly no increase if compared to 1 quarter before, right? So we need to know that. And then for the for every month, every user used how much on that, you can see that for Disney Plus, it's decreasing. Well, 1 quarter before is 4.41, and then now is 4.535 already. Right, it's decreasing, and ESPN Plus also decreasing, Hulu also decreasing. So why the company has the net income increased? Because the numbers increased. Because the number of subscribers increased. Why? Why? Because the other streamers also increasing the price like Netflix. Right? Netflix also increasing. Right? Also in Australia or the Europe, other streamers also increasing. So everyone increasing then makes Disney. Actually, Disney putting up the price is later than Netflix then. So we can see that for the revenue breakdown for the parks and experience, you can see that for the international revenue is nearly nothing, right? Very small, and then it's been raised for double, but the portion of revenue is very small. And then we can see that for the international operating income is still a negative, right? That means only within US, then that's good. But for international, it's still not very good. And then we can see in the in the lower one, right? You can see the cash is less than 1 quarter before, and the debts nearly the same, decreased a little bit, and the net debt is nearly the same, right? It's also in million. 30.7 billion compared to 39.6 billion for net debt. Actually, no difference, right? And there is the operating cash flow is increased, but don't forget that that is the operating cash flow. It's not the free cash flow. So it's not very, it's significant, but not very significant to me. And this is the new, right, the price list, right? So you can see that for the Disney Plus, and there will be a basic plan, right, for 7.99 with advertisements, right? And then there will be a premium one. Then that one now is called a premium, right? No advertisement, 10.99, same as the Netflix plan extending every month. And then you can see that there's a Hulu, right? Hulu is more expensive, 14.99 for no X. And then for ESPN is, I think, is another story for ESPN, right? That means for some matches, right, for shockers and for baskets, then you may pay for it, right? For well, it's quite expensive, 74.99 per event, right? Per event, right? And then there is for that one with the star, right? That means the Hulu, that should be effective on October 10th, right? And for that one with double star effective this month 23, then you can take a look on below, right, for the Disney with bundle plans, or Hulu plus Live in TV plans, also a bundle plans, right? So actually for Disney, it's a good result because she is putting up the price, but actually the number of subscribers still increasing. But that effect may not last long. We don't know, right? Because actually, I have watched Netflix. I also watched Disney Plus before, right? If you are super fans of Marvel heroes or Disney's, right, then maybe you have to subscribe for Disney. But there are a lot of competitors, right? There are a lot of competitors that all over the world, right? So she will put up the price then for this phrase, but may not be able to put up the price in the coming 2 years, right? And then what makes me worry is the PE is still high, 81. 81 is very high, right? 81 is very high. So actually, I'm still recommending if you really like this stock, then you should wait for a moment, unless the PE lowers to 40 something, then you should be more conservative, right? Okay, so we share on Disney up to here, and I'm not going to discuss it once again in our Hong Kong channels because we have a lot of performance to investigate. So that's it, right? So thanks for watching, and then please give us a like if you like this video, and then press the subscribe and the bell icon button. So whenever there is a new video uploaded, YouTube will inform you. Okay, hope everyone have a very peaceful weekend. We see you next week. Bye bye.